Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 285. 285. And good afternoon, everybody, good people of, you know, the world, the places, and everything else in between. I just got back from my date. She took me to a farmer's market. Crazy thing about it, I've never been to a farmer's market. I know what they are. And it was interesting because a lot of this shit I'm believing, like the food vendors and everything, I don't think they sell shit, that's locally grown. Because when I was standing in line I bought a head of lettuce. It was like six something, whatever it was. I was like, fuck it, whatever. And the girl I was with, my date, she was looking at the pineapples and everything, and she was like, and they had the Dole label still on them. And I'm like, you really out here selling store-bought pineapples when you're supposed to be at a farmer's market, and the key word is farmers. Supposed to farm, from farm to table. That's what it is, right? Anyway, there's some stuff I spent money on. I was like, I probably wouldn't buy it again. I just bought it because it was, I was there. Because a lot of that shit is overpriced. But what I wanted to say, man, is I think I fucked around and got myself into another relationship, and I wasn't planning on it. It just happens. And I think that what I was telling my coworker a couple of weeks ago, because he was asking me like, yo, like, how do you meet all these different women, this and this and that? And I go, well, it's a plethora of different places, bro. Majority of the time, I meet women in the grocery store, bro. Believe it or not. And yeah. And he's like, what? He's like, bro, most women that I get phone numbers from, bro, like 90% of them are from the grocery store. So, and he was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, bro. He's like, you got to put yourself in certain situations. And I said, like, go to the strip club, work on your game, this and this and that. And he was like, what? He's like, I'm like, yo, think about it. If you can talk to a girl who takes her clothes off for a living and do it with confidence, imagine what you can do with a girl who's actually interested in you for you. It's easy, bro. All you gotta do is pay attention. And he was like, what? He's like, bro, it's like, just pay attention to what she's saying, pay attention to what she, about what she's talking about, and just take the mental cues based off that. It's like, don't think, oh yeah, I gotta do X, Y, and Z, I gotta impress her, all that other shit, because you don't. You really, like, you really don't. It's like, you just gotta be you. As cliche as that sounds, just be you. Because it is cliche, but it's true. I was like, it's like, stop trying to force yourself to get a girlfriend or find a girlfriend or get into a relationship. Most of the time, bro, it's like that shit will find you when you least expect it. I'm not saying stay in the house all fucking weekend and not do anything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, put yourself in situations where you already naturally feel comfortable. I was like, if you and your boys go out to this restaurant, whatever it is, just take notes on what other people are dressed up as, X, Y, and Z. Hell, I remember once I was in this restaurant. And it was a unisex restaurant, and I was just starting to get my polo game on and all that stuff. So I had a bunch of Ralph Lauren polo or US polos, with the number 3 on the side. And I'm in the bathroom finishing up, and of course, I've always looked good. I've always been in shape or close to being in shape. I'm working my way back to getting back into shape because I need to. I miss my abs. Miss seeing my abs. Anyway, I remember being in the bathroom, and obviously these ladies were a little bit inebriated, and so was I. So I'm washing up, and I remember, like, one of the ladies was asking me, like, yo, what's that 3, you know, what's that? What's that number three stand for? I was like, it's it's me plus plus you and a friend. If you guys are getting, if you guys want to get down like that, I like nothing ever came of that situation, but we ended up exchanging numbers and whatnot, and I think we talked for like maybe like a week or whatever it was, and but it just didn't work out. And I remember walking out the bathroom, and all my boys were like, "Bro, did you just pull a girl in the bathroom?" I was like, "Yeah." Come to think about it, I did. I was like, but I didn't. That wasn't my intention. My intention was to go out there, have a good time with my boys, whatever it was, and if things happen, they happen. And it's like I don't put too much pressure on that because what's the point? You know what I mean? It's like, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you better work on it. And excuse me. And to me, that's the biggest thing because a lot of people will put so much pressure. Excuse me. They'll put so much pressure on them to like, put themselves in awkward social situations or whatever it is, and it's like yo, it's like if the vibe is there, the vibe is there. And I was like I've gone out on dates with people that I knew after the first date I'm never going to see them again. You know, I remember once it was me and this black girl, beautiful black girl, you know, smart, funny, driven, whatever it was. I remember this one this one brother. Obviously, he had some sort of mental health issue, but he was saying like, "Hey man, I love to see my people, like my people together, this and that, having a good time. Like y'all look beautiful." I said, "I appreciate you, dog." You know what I mean? And then he kept it pushing. But I remember what she said. She's like, well, like he's such a weirdo, this and this and that. I'm like, nah, he's not. He's giving us props for seeing black people be out together. But I knew off that because when she said that shit, it's like, yeah, I'm never going to talk to this girl ever again. And I did run into her in the gym every once in a while, but it was like, hey, how you doing? Fist bump, whatever it is, because off that one interaction themselves, I just knew that shit just wasn't gonna work out. It was like, and like it's funny too because the dude after me was a piece of work, and it's like, what could go wrong in that situation did go wrong in that situation, and it's like, nah, it's like, nope. And I remember once she called me an asshole for something. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not an asshole. I'm holding you accountable. Like, you keep making these mistakes, and it's like at the end of the day, it's like you can't blame nobody else but you. It's like you're sitting there, blaming somebody else for a situation that you went back to multiple times. It's like, yo, don't you learn? Like, why would you keep going back to that? It's like an ex telling you, like, oh, well, can we be friends? Why would I want to be friends with you? You did X, Y, and Z. You did all this shit, that we can't take back. But yet you want to be friends with me? Like, does that make any sense to you? And it really doesn't, man. It's like, I think people that are weird, that want to, maintain a relationship or a friendship after they've done some fuck shit, and it's like, no, like you don't get to do that. And yeah, it's like, I just think that was always been strange to me. It's like, oh, like how people just how younger guys are so obsessed with just with just wanting to be in a relationship but not know how to be by themselves. It's like dog, it's like you have to take the time and be by yourself. It's like when me and my ex broke up, I was single for like 6-7 months. I like just recently I started dating. I mean, it's like, it's like, but for me, and I'm like, yo, it's like I was telling my therapist, I have no problem being alone. I'm not lonely. I actually prefer being alone, but at the same time, I value my space too. Yeah, if I want people in my space, great, cool, whatever. We can do that. But at the same time, it's like, please don't think that, just because somebody prefers to be alone, that they're a loner. Like, no, it's like we're not. It's like we're just people that value our space and value, what we bring to the table, in terms of just being by yourself. Because being by yourself is such a breath of fresh air, Like you don't have to deal with anybody else's drama, the triggers, all the other shit. And to me, it's like the way I look at it is it's simple. Don't put too much stock into what people say. Or, watch what they do. Watch how they handle conflict. And that's what I try to tell these young folks too. Is like all these kids in their 20s. It's like, yeah, it's like, bro, it's like if love was enough, bro, everybody who's older than you know, who's been in committed relationships, who's gotten to marry, this and this and that. If love was enough for that shit, for that situation to last, it's like, don't you think those people or those persons or those people would still be in these relationships? It's not. It's like, never be afraid to like end something, or move on from something. It's like some things aren't meant to last forever. It's like, because people all grow each other, they do X, Y, and Z, and it's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the one thing about me is like, I hate it when people talk about their goals, but they make no trajectory or no forward movement to their goals. They just end up talking about it, And after a while, you're like, okay, like, why are we having the same conversation? You keep talking about what you want to do, and that's it. There's no movement towards getting better. There's no movement towards trying to get better. It's all talk. And a lot of people may call me a hater for that, but I'm like, yo, it's the truth though. Like, why would you sit here and say what you want to do, X, Y, and Z, but yet you have no game plan for it, or yet you come up with excuses not to complete the goal, but it's like at the same time you want people to be sympathetic towards you. It doesn't work that way. I think people like that are weird, straight up. And I say that sounding like a hypocrite because when I was in my teens and my early 20s, that was me, And I think when people realize that they're the ones standing in their own way, like it's not nobody else's fault. It's not your situation. It's not your environment per se. It's not how your parents raised you per se. You know what I mean? It's like you have to like rise above it and you have to be better. Like it's like, take for instance, somebody who isn't read to as a child. He or she may be illiterate, or functionally illiterate, but it's also their job to change what they don't know. Like you have to break, the generational curses that a lot of these folks think is normal, and it's not. It's like, it's like in the black community, it's like, they value, well, most people value sports over education, but they fail to realize, without the education, you're not gonna get to where you need to go. It's like Lenny Cook. I look him up, Google him. Guy was better than LeBron, better than Melo, and never made it. Why? Because his grades were shit. Academically, he wasn't strong. This nigga could jump out the goddamn gym. But when it came time for him to sit in class and actually do the work, he couldn't do it. But there's a plethora of cases out there like that. It's like one of the guys that I think his name was Kennedy Masutululu or something like that. Anyway, he played for the University of Hawaii. He was a defensive end, and he was projected to be the first round, like a top 10 pick. Like the dude was destined to have an NFL future. And damn, no, it's good. He was dating this girl, and he got arrested for property theft, I believe. And when the cops ran his name, cause he broke some shit inside the dash truck or something, whatever it was. And so when the girl's father filed a police report, they found all this buried information, and he got arrested off of that. And and then his life just kind of just spiraled out of control. I don't know what happened to him. I think he got suspended from the team for a year or whatever it is, and I don't think he ended up graduating. But it's like you talk about his top 10 draft pick. That was the rumors coming around about him, and this is from a mid-major Division I school, and having a top 10 talent on your football team is crazy, you know. And then it just goes to show you the poor choices that people make can definitely derail your future. And that's where I'm at too, because it's like I'm in my late 30s, and it's like, bro, it's like people. I look around and it's like I see people with a gang of kids, you know, guys and girls, with motherfuckers who are temporary, with people who told you what they really were about, and you didn't believe them, and now you stuck here looking stupid because you don't want to end all be all, right? And it's like, and to me, like it's crazy because you don't get a do over. You didn't there's no do over for life. It's like you have to, like, I got a quote that I say, life gives you the test without the answers. You know, in school you're taught the answers to the test. Life is a test without the answers. It's like, of course, if you get pulled over, if you're speeding, you get pulled over. 90% of the time, you'll get a speeding ticket. Or if you do some illegal activity, you're most likely gonna get caught. Or X, Y, and Z. Like, there's consequences to everything, right? And sometimes the consequences are bigger than what people think they are. And it's just simple as that. It's like people have to understand that you're like, yo, like you have to understand the severity of your actions. And it goes back to a relationship too. Like I was telling my coworker, I was like, bro, it's like you don't want to rush into something, because what if you link it up with the wrong person? What if you link it up with somebody who's horrible at, being emotionally mature, or horrible at expressing his or her feelings, or horrible with money, horrible with credit, or has a fucked up family history, And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like you have to be really mindful about that, because who you link up with, who you hook up with, as the kids say, can and will determine your future. It's like the date I was on earlier today, and I said, like, look, I was like, because we was talking about school and everything too, and I was like, yeah, it's like if we all took the paths that we, the other options, who knows? Our life could have been 100% different. And it's like, I went to school on academic scholarship for the University of Hawaii. If I would have went to school in the mainland, I still would have got my schooling covered for it because of scholarships. But my life would have been different. I probably would have stayed where I went to school at. I probably would have, if anything, I really wanted to go to the University of Oregon. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the reason why I wanted to go was because of their facilities. And, Nike's right up the street. It's not that hard to figure out why I would want to go. So I ended up not going, obviously. But I don't regret it, because I got a 4-year degree. I walked away from school debt-free, young, black, and educated. Yeah. And sometimes you have to look at the path that you take and be like, okay, cool. Like, let me go do X, Y, and Z. And I'm not saying that that just because I stayed here, means I would have met the girl I'm currently seeing. Because I don't know. But at the same time, it's like you have to trust the process and everything that you're doing, because you have to understand, okay, look, I don't know where life is going to take me 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, but I know right now where I'm at. And right now where I'm at is great. You know, I'm growing, I'm maturing, I'm doing all this life shit, right? And it's like I was telling my coworker, it's like, bro, it's like, you just gotta trust the process. As crazy as it may sound, as as uh as as cliche as it may sound, like I was like, bro, the right person gonna see what you working on, dog, and it's like she's gonna wanna or he's gonna and because when I say coworker, I mean male and female. I was like, yo, just keep working on yourself. The right person is gonna see that. The right person is gonna want to be with that. You know, is gonna want to spend time with it. You know, with you and your what you got going on and all this other stuff. Is like, yeah, like they're gonna see that, and they're gonna want to be a part of that. And if they don't want to be a part of that, that's fine. You know, it's like they don't have to be. But at the same time, it's like stop thinking that you have to like, you know, keep, you know, working like, you know, that you have to work in yourself to find the perfect person. It's like, bro, ain't nobody perfect. You know, nobody's like has it all together. They don't they don't have it. They don't have everything figured out. And if somebody tells you they have everything figured out, they're fucking lying to you. Because nobody does. You know, nobody has everything figured out. There's nothing that people can do that will make the process an easier process. It's like the girls and the guys that I know who are going through divorces or going through divorces or have gotten divorced. It's like they've all said the same thing. Like, bro, they're like, yo, they're like, if I would have slowed down and paid attention to the signs, there's no way in hell I would have married them. Mind you, they've all said the same thing. So what's that tell you? It's like, why would you sit there and like not vet the person and not understand the person that you're getting in bed with? You know, it's a huge undertaking. And like one of the guys that I follow on social media, he was like, yo, he's like, you know, like one thing people got to be aware of is like you have to stop thinking that, oh, just because I have a baby with somebody, that means that person is going to choose me. They're not. Just because I have a baby with somebody means that like I'm gonna be you know, thought of, you know, on X, Y, and Z. I'm like you won't be. And what's crazy to me is like people will sit there and be like, oh well, I did X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. I'm like, but nobody asked you to. Nobody told you to do that. You know, nobody said like go off and get pregnant, you know, or go off and get this girl pregnant, you know. And because me personally, you know, I'm not a dad yet. I don't have any kids yet. But you're not a man to me if you can lay down with somebody and not want to take care of your seed, bro. Like there's something, you know, very, very fucking wrong with that. It's like, you know, it's like, quick story before I wrap this up. There used to be a guy I was friends with, you know, he was fucking around with this girl, and literally all the guys that hung out with him, myself included, was telling him like, and we all told him this point blank to his face at one point in time too. In a group setting, we're like, bro, like leave this bitch alone. This bitch will fuck up your life. Like stop fucking with this girl, bro. Like you get this girl pregnant, and your life is gonna get more fucked up than it already is. What's he do? He gets her pregnant. And I was like, the fuck? And like, when I heard about that, I was like, bro. I was like, really, man? I was like, really? Like, you really out here fucking, you know, fucking this bitch raw, disregarding our fucking warnings, and then you want to bitch and moan about this shit, how fucking crazy she is, X, Y, and Z. Bro, what you expect? We told you. We told you what the deal was, my boy. You didn't want to listen to us. Nah, homie. We good over here. And we were. Because we all we all looked at that like, Told this motherfucker. Nigga ain't want to listen. What you want me to do with that? There's nothing I can do with that. I can't do nothing with that, even if I wanted to. You know, so it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, it's cool, it's whatever. But at the same time, it's like, you can't sit there and be like, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z, woe is me. And it's like, bro, it's not even that, my boy. It's the fact that you didn't listen to what we was telling you, and now you sitting here looking stupid. It's like, that's why I don't understand where certain people, I'm like, I don't understand that we're certain people, because it's not that fucking difficult, bro. It's really not. You know, as crazy as this sounds, as, you know, as simple as it sounds, because it is fucking simple. And like, we've all had that situation, like, god damn, it's a good thing I didn't get her pregnant. It's a good thing I didn't fucking involve myself in that situation. And it's like, I've had guys tell me, like, bro, sometimes, man, it's like, you know, they're like, and these are older gentlemen too. They're like, yo, like, having that dick discipline will save you from a lot of shit. And sometimes it's like, when you're in a situation with somebody, and this is me speaking from experience. As great as a pussy is, as great as the sex is, wrap him up. You know, don't hit that shit raw, even though it fucking feels amazing. Don't do that shit. Because you don't know what, you know, what you're setting yourself up for. You don't know what the other person, you know, what type of skeletons they got, what type of issues they got. It's like, one of the first things I do, you know, when I'm dating somebody, I'm like, yo, you know, okay, tell me your 3 to 5 year plan. You know, break that shit down for me. Let me see your credit score. And that's a huge thing. And like, some women look at me like, what? Like, yeah, what's your credit score? They're like, why? Because it's a credit score tells me everything I need to know. This credit score tells me how you spend your money, how prompt are you paying your bills, and everything else. And if your credit score is below a 725, no, fuck that. Sorry. Nope. You know? And it's like, people are like, what? It's like, yeah, if your credit score is below a 725, you won't get no play here, bro. And that's a rule for myself when I got caught up in a certain situation. And it's like, I'm like, yo, never again, because it's like, you're dealing with people who don't know how to manage themselves. So how the fuck can they manage themselves by themselves if they can't do that? How are they going to manage themselves when in a relationship with you? And they're not going to be able to do that. You know, and it's like, it goes back to what I was telling my coworker, man. It's like, you can't rush the process, bro. It's like, I was like, that person's going to find you when they find you, my boy. And when they find you, just be ready for it. You know, like, don't put on the front. Don't do X, Y, and Z. Just understand that everything happens in that time frame. Everything that's meant to happen will happen. And that's what it is, bro. It's like stop trying to rush the process. Stop trying to rush up the timetable. And cause he was like, yo, like how do I put, you know, I'm working, you know, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Like, how do I fit a relationship into this? I'm like, bro, you don't. You just, like, somebody's gonna see that, be like, okay, like, what they got going on is cool. How do I add to that? It's simple, bro. It's like it's really not that difficult. It's not that hard, you know. It's like, oh, there's an old saying goes, you know, and it's about relationships. He said, if you're confused about a situation, that means they don't want you. If you're not confused about a situation, that means they've chosen you. And it's like, I wish I would have known this younger. When I was in my teens and my 20s, it would have saved me a lot of time. But if somebody makes excuses for you, or to why they can't see you X, Y, and Z, leave them alone. You know, if you get a phone number and he or she doesn't hit you back within 2 or 3 text messages after you send in two text messages, me personally, after 2, I don't talk to them no more. Like, what's the point? You're obviously not interested. Like, I'm not going to sit here and waste my time and try to communicate with somebody when you're making it clear that you don't want to communicate with me. And, like, that's why I think a lot of people get it fucked up at, too, because, they keep trying and trying and trying. It's like, one last story that I'm going to say before I wrap this up. Is that when I first moved to California, like, there was this girl that, you know, she lived in my neighborhood, whatever it was. So me and her were talking. So I ended up getting her number and everything too. And excuse me. So I remember getting the number, like it was rinky dink shit. You know, it was like, you know, let's go to the gym, let's work out, whatever. So I remember she said something. And she said something, and I said something back, and then she's like, "Well, if you know I'm not interested, then why do you keep trying?" Oh shit! Okay, bet. And I told her point blank, I was like, "Yo," I was like, "I thought you was a friend. I wasn't looking at you like that." Like I told her, like, I literally moved up here, don't really know anybody, trying to be friends with people, and this was what it is. And it's like, and I remember this older cat, because we used to all get together at Buffalo Wild Wings on Sundays and watch football games. And so I was telling him the situation. He was telling me, "Yo, man," he's like, "Yo," it was like, if people are moving like that, bro, just leave them alone. Like, stop thinking that, like, the more energy that you're gonna put in this situation, that it's gonna work out in your favor, because it's not. And that was a crazy part to me too. It's like, yo, it was like, I wasn't even interested in you like that anyway. Like, I thought you was cool until you wasn't, you know? It's like, because, like, you ever met somebody who just doesn't think? She was one of the people that just didn't fucking think. Like, she was incapable of having critical thinking. But, anyway, this is 33 minutes of y'all life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keep it up for peace. Private play, positive pushing. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. And it's like, the one thing I'm going to keep reiterating is that don't rush the process. Everything's going to happen when it happens. And you have to just be ready for it. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. Y'all stay safe. And I will see y'all next week Sunday. Peace.